Benjamin. Yeah, Benjamin's the guy that puts all that stuff together. So we are back. We are at the NRA's annual meetings. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, 2025. This is going to be a fun one for me because I am with Ernest Langdon from Langdon Tactical. I met you at SHOT Show 2 SHOT Shows ago. We were at a Beretta Days shoot, and you had some hopped-up Cougar pistols, if I remember correctly.
PX4s.
PX4s? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. I can't believe what you can do to guns because you made that thing, like, hot. But today we're talking about something different.
Yeah.
So
shotguns.
Yeah, shotguns. And you
the
guys.
The gauge.
What's that?
The gauge.
The gauge. So, Ernest, you've been doing this stuff for a long time, but tell, like, I've heard over the years, you know, competitions, TechCon, talking to people like Brian Eastridge, the guys that are carrying these giant 92 Berettas that are done. Oh, this is a Langdon edition. You guys have been doing this stuff. Tell me about it. Tell us. Don't tell me. Tell them.
Well, we've been doing custom work started on Beretta 92s, really. And the company has been restarted for a little over 10 years now. We're at about 11 years in. But what we're originally known for is doing custom work to the Beretta 92. Now we branched out to a bunch of the different stuff from that. But yeah, Brian Eastridge and a bunch of those guys have been running the Langdon version, the Beretta Elite pistol, which is a gun that I spec'd out with Beretta. It's like, these are the pieces and parts. This is the way a Beretta 92 should be built. And, you know, that's the way Beretta builds them for us.
So JJ Ricazza shoots for Beretta, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you do JJ's guns?
We do his trigger work.
You do his trigger work. And I've shot JJ's guns, just so you know.
Well, he just started doing that very, very recently. He's mad that he didn't do it sooner.
Really?
Yeah, it's very, very recent. So I don't know when you shot him before because he's
been a couple years.
He's a little angry from that he didn't bite the bullet.
So he could have been winning instead of coming in second all the time?
I don't want to say that. That's
that's not
fair.
Just when he's trying to get a good video or something like that,
yeah.
JJ, Mm-hmm. So anyways, I carried a Beretta 96 for years, as a cop, as a law enforcement officer. And it was before I knew how to shoot. And so it was really hard for me to shoot because I was not a shooter at the time. I mean, I've always been the best of the bad lot, but I mean, you could have changed everything for me. How long has it been since you've been working on these 92s?
I started working on them for myself would have been in 1997.
Okay, so it was after
been a minute.
It was after my early days with the 92. We probably were out of those by then, but so you're still working with Beretta. We got a 1301 Tactical here on the table, and it is, by golly, sexy. It is tricked out sexy. I got a chance to take it to the range. So let's watch that video, and then we'll see what I screwed up because you're always correcting me already, because I don't get much right, but when I do, I hammer it, So let's watch that video, Michael, and we will see what this gun can do. All right, fellas, thanks. Yeah, this is my first time getting my hands on any Langdon firearms, let alone a Langdon Tactical shotgun. This is their Beretta 1301 Tactical. There's a lot of modifications here, and from what I see online, you guys have a ton of options you can pick from, different things you can add to or change up. One of the things I noticed right away was your Langdon Tactical heat shield. I like that because if you're working this shotgun and you're loading it from underneath, the barrel does get hot. Also, I love what you guys did with this red dot mount. It's a cool way to integrate a red dot and your iron sights together. Certainly, your Langdon Tactical trigger job is smooth as heck. I love it. So, I can't speak to all the features that are on this, because I've never handled one of these guns before, but man, it is smoothed out, feels great. Can't wait to shoot it. Now the Magpul stock is really a neat touch, guys, but it's got way too many spacers in and I didn't have time to take it out. So it's gonna push me back just a little bit off the gun from where I'd like to be. Let's try some, I've got some 1 1/8 loads here. Yeah, that side loading paddle, that bolt release is nice, it's smooth. It loads easy. Safety's got a big button. I know the trigger's slick, so let's see if I can hit something without flinching too badly here. I'm gonna get aggressive, we'll try. Okay, that doesn't feel real bad, guys. It's the 1301, they recoil light. Let's go for 2. We get 2 plates, let's see if we can get the last 3. Oh, and I hit the rack on one. I pushed in a little bit. All right, well, sometimes I just suck at shooting. So one of the things I'm interested in is, will it shoot these light 1 ounce loads? 1 ounce loads are fun to shoot, but semi-autos can sometimes be a little bit fickle with them. So here's your test, guys. Just gonna put some 1 ounce loads out. Oh boy, that's powder puff, so let's go 2. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm sure there's stuff I missed in there, guys, but I know you're gonna cover it on the show floor. The Langdon Tactical 1301. You guys are doing some great work. Back to you. Well, obviously, I didn't know that I was going to be the one standing here with you when we did this segment, so we passed it back to me, and I thought I covered some of the stuff really well, but I don't know everything you do. So let's cover it all. What does Langdon Tactical do to this gun?
So let's start front to back's the easiest way to go.
That's
right?
cool. Yep.
So we'll start up here on the front. This is our Super Duty front sight. And one of the things that has always bothered me about production ghost ring sights is when they build them, if you're familiar with a normal front sight, it has protective wings next to the front sight. And what that does is I've got a post in the middle and these big protective wings, and it makes for a very confusing sight picture.
It's busy.
It's very busy, and then it blocks a lot of what you're trying to see downrange.
Okay.
So we wanted to change that. And one of the issues that we were concerned about and we played with is if you make this front sight too small, you make it too narrow, then it becomes fragile.
It can break it.
So this thing had to be robust all by itself without any big protective wings.
Okay.
Right? Thick enough, coarse enough for you to use up close, but we still wanted to be able to shoot it accurately at distance. So it is a serrated front post. It's very wide. It's actually works quite well, but if you need to be precise with it, we've got this little notch that we've cut into it. And you can literally
for your slugs.
Oh, absolutely. You can shoot, 50, 100 yards with that notch and be very precise with good slugs.
Well, I mean, you get some good, and they do make some great rifled slugs. I mean, I could stack them, but you get the wrong ones, it's not going to help at all. So then where are we going from there?
This light is really an option. This is a stream light.
And your website does have options.
Lots of options.
Which is cool. It's like you can build your gun. And I mentioned that in the video, but let's be clear about it so everybody knows. When you go to their website, you can look at it and you can pick out the things you want, you don't want. If it's getting too expensive, cut back on some stuff.
That's right. And you got to be careful. You need to go through and make sure you're doing what you're doing, because every single configuration is not photographed in there, right? So you click on a particular paint color that you might like. It's going to bring up a gun with that paint color on it, but it's not going to, have every single configuration that could be.
Old man, we call that Cerakote now.
Yeah.
We don't call it paint. It's not. I don't think you don't paint your guns, do you?
They're Cerakote, yeah.
Yeah, see.
Did I say paint? See, now you're correcting me. I love it.
Okay, so we got the light mount, which is cool because that's an M-LOK style, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yep. Is that your handguard?
This particular one is the Patrol 4N that comes on the A300 and the 1301.
Okay.
So we refer to this as the Beretta Patrol 4N.
But you added to it.
Yeah, so we added the heat shield to it. We have this heat shield for the Patrol 4N, the Zukov 4N, and the Midwest Industries 4N. So you can pick, depending on which 4N you want to put on the gun, you can put it on there. Specifically the Patrol 4N and the Zukov 4N, we can actually put modular switch mounts on it as well. So this modular switch mount allows you to decide which light switch you want to use. We have multiples of options there. This particular one is the Streamlight one. And then you tongue and groove it up into the heat shield. You bolt that down on there, and it holds it on there, and you're not sticky.
I was
taping
wondering how that was on there.
Yeah.
So did you plan for this pattern to be effective with the cords and routing your cords?
So the original concept was originally we went down the path with a heat shield. We wanted a heat shield for all the reasons you're talked about.
Yeah, because it does get hot when you're running the gun a lot.
Well, if you get 2 tubes through that thing, it'll burn you.
Exactly.
It'll burn you. I mean, if you run 1 tube through it really fast, it's going to second-degree burn your butt.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. So that was the original reason, but it was like, hey, we need to figure out how are we going to manage the cord in a logical sense where I know I'm going to want my flashlight on my non-dominant side and I want my pressure switch on my dominant side. Okay, so that my left hand is my non-dominant side.
Yeah.
I said that backwards. So I want the light on my non-dominant side or my dominant side and my pressure switch on my non-dominant side so I can push it with my offhand. And I got to do something with the cord. And anybody that's set any guns up, you know exactly what we're talking about. You're zip tying and Ranger banding and all kinds of stuff.
Duct tape, electrical tape, rubber bands, anything.
So what we did was, one of my guys, it wasn't me, I'd love to say, oh, I had this idea. One of my guys was, well, what if, Jimmy's like, what if we make the texture hold the wire? And we were like, oh, that sounds...
Can we do that?
Yeah, that sounds really cool. And it took a minute. Trust me, this wasn't like hey, let's just pop this together and work.
Sure.
Anyway, I don't have to get into the details there, but yeah, the idea is to do this wire management. We got some new stuff that we'll be launching here fairly soon. We don't have it out yet. It's not really new. We just figured out that you can take O-ring material, the O-ring stuff that you would make an O-ring for something, like rubber.
Rubber O-rings,
Yep.
yeah.
And we just smash it all the way down in here, and you have this little rubberized stuff.
It becomes grippy?
Oh, yeah, it's really, and if you're kind of, I'm on the spectrum for sure, right? That's why I'm in the gun industry.
That's why I said grippy.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah. And then I'm like, ooh, I like the way that feels, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be doing that.
So what about this? Is this all Beretta or
That's
is this
Beretta.
You? Okay.
The extension, so one of the cool things about the 1301 is this is a solid tube. This is not an extension. And one of the issues with extensions is that shell has to make that transition from one tube to the next. And if they're not mated up perfectly, or you're shooting and they start to come loose, you can have reliability issues. This is a solid 7-round tube all the way out.
Okay, so
and this is a cover in this piece.
We're working our way back.
So
this is not your bolt release.
Yeah, this is factory.
I'll tell you what, that's pretty nice.
It works great. It's a really good bolt release. It's
like
actually the second generation of the bolt release on the 1301s. There was originally some issues. If you bumped it wrong, it could, dump a shell out onto the carrier and jam the gun out, because it would dump out 2 shells.
Oh, yeah.
This one fixed that problem. The newer guns also have the Pro Lifter, which puts the lifter up and out of the way. So if you're a shotgun guy, a lot of shotgun guys...
So you're not working against it when you're doing your...
When you go to shove a shell in there, I don't have to push it out of the way, and it doesn't spring back and try to catch my thumb as I pull it out.
It's already out of the way.
It's already out of the way.
Is that your follower or is that theirs?
That's theirs. That's the factory follower.
Man, that's a great follower.
Factory follower, and the Pro Shell Lifter, that's 100% out of the shotgun guys out of Italy that were like, yeah, this is cool.
That's fantastic.
Some really, really good shotgun shooters in Italy.
Where are we going next?
Go back to the fastback mount.
This is cool.
Sure.
So this has your logo on it. I know it's yours.
Yes. So we were using some other versions of Optic mounts, which were great. They worked fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But when we started going down this path, one of the things that I've become a huge fan of, and a lot of people don't understand this, I like to have backup sights on anything I'm running a red dot on. But I like the rear sight to be in front of the optic.
Okay.
And once you start running that, you start to realize what an advantage that is, because I can still see it, I can still assess it, but it doesn't get in way or obscure me seeing the dot.
Sure.
Okay.
And it's low profile. It's not a ghost ring. I don't know if y'all can see that, if Benjamin can catch that, but that's windage adjustable and a notch.
Mm-hmm. It's a pistol sight, basically. There's nothing wrong with ghost rings, but all of us shoot pistols, and we know what pistol sights are supposed to look like.
Exactly.
So everybody knows what this sight picture is supposed to look like intuitively. and boom, it's very, very natural. So that's what we wanted to do there.
Well, the ghost ring sight is supposedly a human eye has the ability, the innate ability to center an object in a circle. But it seems like not everybody can do that.
It's
like iron
harder
sights.
than it sounds.
It's
a lot harder than it sounds. It's not as intuitive as everybody
It's not as
says
intuitive as you might think.
And they tend to be bigger and more obtrusive than pistol sights.
And then they're snaggy. They're going to be in this window. It's going to be too busy again.
And snaggy is another good point. Some of the other ones that we've used in the past, the rear sight's pretty snaggy. It wants to come out of adjustment. So we wanted to be very robust, easy adjustable. You can adjust this with the rim of a shot shell. And by the way, somebody says you can make the shell go off, and it's not a rim fire; it's a center fire.
Are you kidding me? Somebody's
like, that shell goes off in your hand, and I'm like, from the rim?
You know, Ernest, if I could see, I would be able to see that has something in there. But Benjamin, I don't know if you can catch that, but that is cool because that's one of the things I like about the RMR.
Yep.
Is that I can adjust it with a shell casing. I don't care if it's loaded or not.
Yeah, it's not going to go off in your hand. It's not a rim fire.
Okay.
Anyway,
what else do we have?
But this optics there's a lot more thought that went into this one. Mitchell, this was his big project. One of the guys Mitchell Booth that worked for me. The big thing was we wanted to move the optic as far back as we could so that you could do an over the receiver load and not hit the optic. Some of the other ones we used in the past, the optic sits further forward, the rear sight was behind it, and it's right in the way when you're trying to do an over the top reload to reload the gun. So being able to pull the shell out of the side saddle and throw it into the side without the optic being in the way was very important. So that's very, very important. Now, if we move on back, we've got this particular one has a Magpul stock on it. We also have the chisel machining stock. People ask me, well, which one do you like? Well, and they make a fixed one and they make a folding one, chisel machining does.
Really?
So the real benefit is if you need to make the gun smaller, and the folding stock would make a difference for you, then that completely makes sense, right? But there's nothing wrong. The regular one is great as well if you think it looks cool, but you're paying to look cool. So I don't know that it's worth the additional money. But the folding point is obviously that's a cool feature to be able to fold the stock and make the shotgun quite a bit shorter.
Portable.
That's right. The chisel one has a unique ability. Also, there's a rear optic mount back here.
Okay.
So now, you don't have to buy a fastback mount.
Really cleaning up the receiver.
You can just put your optic back here if you want. So the chisel has some unique features. You have to decide. The adapter, that is GG&G, is the one that helps us with our...
What's this on here for? Because normally if I put a GG&G on, I always put one on to mount a sling. And this doesn't have any mount in it, so what's the purpose here?
This Magpul stock is actually not for a 1301. It's for a Mossberg. It's a Magpul Mossberg SGA stock.
How cool is that?
So this changes the interface between the Beretta receiver and the Magpul receiver.
It's an adapter.
And then Magpul made their adapter that bolts this on has a recoil buffer in it like the factory system. So when the bolt comes to the rear, it hits that buffer in the bolt instead of the back of the receiver.
How cool is that?
It's very cool, and it's really important with this gun. And you mentioned, I'm a big fan.
It comes with all the spacers.
It comes with all the spacers.
I like to run them short. I want to get up into it.
I run it super short. Mine is so short. If you come by the booth, here's one from the booth. Not only do I have this on it, but my personal gun has the kickies. The kickies, I think they call them like gunfighters or something like that, but they're really, really thin and they're really radiused at the top, so they don't snag as easy. Yeah. They're smooth. So I like mine really, really short. So,
yeah, me too, because I want to get up in behind that gun.
Right, and it's really important because a shotgun is often used as a home defense gun, okay? So if your wife or your son or somebody needs to grab this and use it, and you've set it up. I've set it up for me, and I'm almost 6'3".
You are.
I am setting them up for failure to try to shoot a shotgun with a stock that's set up for me.
Exactly.
I can shoot a shorter stock.
Every time they shoot, it's going to knock them off.
I can shoot a shorter stock. It's harder for them to shoot a stock that's too long.
I tell people that all the time, but nobody listens to me. Nobody ever listens to me.
People have a hard time listening.
So what did you guys do to the insides then?
We don't need this gun's crazy reliable. Main thing we do is the trigger. We take the trigger group out and we do a trigger job to it. We don't dramatically lighten it. It's probably a
Smooth it
half
up.
to 3/4 of a pound lighter than stock, but it's much more consistent. It's much smoother. It doesn't have that, you can't, if you're really trying to be precise with a slug,
Yeah, sure.
it doesn't have that little stagey to it.
No
step.
hitch in the giddy up.
That's right. So as far as the internal goes, now obviously we have a bunch of different Cerakote colors, so you can change it. This particular
I love
one's a
this combo right
beautiful
here.
bronze. It's a beautiful gun, right?
What's going to be like this configuration here? MSRP ideas, like, here to there, or anything? Because I know
I
it's
think
a build
all
your
in,
own.
this is a very expensive gun because we have them, you can get it this way with light. We have one called a Blackout that has actually sling swivel mount, sling swivel here. I got a mag pole sling on it. It's like everything you need. You're ready to go out of the box. And that gun's like $3,400. It's
Okay.
really expensive. But
Okay.
most of our shotguns, depending on how you configure them, are going out the door at about $1,800 to
Oh, man, that's fantastic.
$1,800 to $2,000, depending on exactly how you set it up. Obviously, the Cerakote adds some money. You
Sure,
start
yeah.
adding lights and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things I tell a lot of people is like, oh, I can do that all myself. I'm like, you really should go do the math.
Yeah, you should
because
do the math for the price, because the
you
work.
need to go do the math. I mean, and if you want it, if you have all the tools and all the parts, go ahead. But you're going to be, you might hurt your feelings if you go do the math and buy the stock, buy the adapter, buy a optic mount from
find
someone, buy an
mount.
optic,
Yes.
buy a heat shield from us or wherever, or don't run a heat shield, whatever. You go
Yes.
down that path, you might be like, oh, I think I'll just buy one.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing great work. I know we've got more to come from you guys over at Langdon Tactical. Folks, I'm privileged to be here with Ernest Langdon Tactical, Beretta 1301 Tactical. This is a hell of a gun. You're going to see more from Langdon Tactical from NRA.
Thanks, Chris.
For more great gun content, subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. You can also watch the Gun Talk channels on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon. And of course, you can always find us at guntalk.com. Thanks for watching.